The ocean is a great reminder of what your memory is like and how peaceful and calm your memory can be when you use meditation as part of your memory improvement practice. This is Anthony Metivier from MagneticMemoryMethod.com, and in this video I'm just going to share with you a couple of little meditation techniques and the metaphor of the ocean for your memory and meditating, because it's super powerful to think about that depth and that distance and how you can keep traveling and getting more and more intimate with your memory and meditation and the connection between the two, because they are profoundly linked. Not only do we know that scientifically you're able to improve your memory by showing up to meditate consistently, but also you can use your meditations as part of how that you get better with memory techniques. So scientifically speaking, some of what is going to happen requires you to be the scientist and to really get into that ocean, to experience the depth of it. And we know scientifically that at least 4 times a week you want to sit down to meditate. Now, there are lots of different kinds of meditations. There are sitting meditations, there are walking meditations, there are movement-based yoga meditations, and some of my favorites just involve sitting just to sit and not really having a program, but just sitting and observing. You can breathe, you can do breathing exercises, but just sitting and observing, and then actually going through a memory palace while you're sitting there. Now, in terms of what I think of as the magnetic habit chain, what I like to do is sit for just a period of time and then start to breathe whenever the moment feels right. I'll often do this after a bit of stretching, so raising arms up as high as they can go and touching the toes, then doing something like, just on the ground, moving around, whatever feels right to get a little bit loose and limber, and then sitting and just breathing sort of normally until that feels right to start breathing through some exercises. So exercises that are really powerful are breathing in for a count of 5, holding for a count of 5, and breathing out for a count of 5. Doing that for about 2 minutes. You can set a timer actually if you want to, and just don't think too much about any thoughts that may come into your mind, because thoughts come and thoughts go, and it's not really that interesting to pay attention to them or to fight against them, but rather just observe them and let them be as they are, just like memories come and go. And a lot of those thoughts will be memories, and they're just coming in and then going out, coming in and going out, and not get too involved in them, and just focus on breathing. And counting is a great way of developing focus. And what you can do is progressively increase the count over time. So let's say you're breathing in for 5 seconds, holding for 5, and exhaling for a count of 5. Well, after a bit of that, you can add a number, like another 5 or just 1, so that you're breathing in for 6, holding for 6, breathing out for 6. And again, it's this like wave-like structure, and doing that for as long as feels right. You don't have to overdo it. You can do it for 15 minutes, 45 minutes. People have argued about exactly how much time one should spend in order to get an effect, and in the research and the science I've seen, those arguments never amount to anything. What matters is that you consistently show up and you do it consistently over time. And one of the best things that I ever heard is do 45 minutes if you like during a day, but split it up into 3 15-minute sessions, or 3 15-minute sessions, and that actually is quite lovely. Other things you can do in your breathing routine, and this is part of my habit chain, is then to move to what's called Kirtan Kriya, and that is to hit the fingers like this, both hands, and say Sa Ta Na Ma. It absolutely does not matter what you say. It can just be 1, 2, 3, 4. I like Sa Ta Na Ma. It's kind of cool. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's the notes or some of the notes in the Indian scale. And Satanama, Satanama. You can do a lot of variations on this. You can, of course, go this way, and you can skip. So you can say Sa, Na, and Ta, Ma. And then this is just a way of developing focus and concentration and really being with what it is that you're doing, both mentally and physically in your fingers. It's really, really profound, and 2 minutes or so. If you look up Kirtan Kriya, there's a lot of variations, and I'm coming up with a bunch of variations now and writing them all down to catalog all of the ones that I can think of. And some of them, there's an infinity of them when you just think, okay, so if I go sa ta na ma, and then you go like sa 1 2 na ta 1 2 na 1 2 ma 1 2 sa 1 2 3 na 1 or ta 1 2 3 na 1 2 3 ma 1 2 3, and then you add 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. You can do an infinity of this and just see how long you can concentrate on where you are in scaling up. And there's not like a one-to-one correspondence here on how that's going to help improve your memory, but it improves your memory simply because you are extending your concentration and your focus and your attention span, and it's just a wonderful thing. And once you've gone through a number of these exercises, and you can play all kinds of variations and make up your own variations. Part of the fun is just understanding the principles behind these things and then coming up with your own variations. What you can do is then go into a memory palace after you're nice and calm and relaxed, and you have overcome any of the inhibitions that people have with their creativity, and just go into a memory palace that you've created and start decoding your magnetic imagery in those memory palaces. So if you're learning a language, whatever that language might be, if you just go cold into decoding, then the first time you make a mistake or you are clawing after something, you're like, what was there? You can get frustrated and demotivated. But when you're calm and relaxed and in this just kind of dreamy, oh yeah, I just meditated sort of state, then you don't really worry about it too much. You just have this childlike wonder, and you go in and you see what was there. So you go to the first station in your memory palace and what was there, and it comes or it doesn't, and then you go to the next one and the next one and the next one. And just like you can skip in Satanama, you can also skip station 1 to station 3 and station 5, station 7, station 9, and come back 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, and just decode out of order, which is really, really great for your memory. And it's great for juggling information in and out of order. Odd stations, even stations. And if you do this, you'll find that you are extending your concentration, you're practicing and developing your focus, and you're practicing your memory. Now, it doesn't have to be a memory palace activity either. You can make it for remembering anything. So you could go through your memories and just pick something, like say my favorite music, and start to go through your favorite album and all the songs in order. And when you hit one that you're just like, oh, I'm not sure if this song came first or next, and I don't even remember what the names of these songs are, but you can push. You can go through soundtracks. Like I used to love listening to certain soundtracks for movies and start thinking, what were the songs in order? And even if you don't know the names, what were the tunes of those songs? Just come up with little memory exercises like that. Maybe it's not going to be music based. Maybe you'll think of your favorite books. Like when I was a kid, I had these bookshelves that I kept meticulously, and I think, okay, so I used to really like the Shannara series. Who wrote the Shannara series? What was the first book in the Shannara series? What was the second book? What was the third book? When did I read it? Where did I buy it? And then I start thinking about the shopping mall, where the bookstore was, and the name of the bookstore, and reconstructing, and who else was there, and like the Piers Anthony novels, and what were the Xanth novels in order, and start to go through the titles, and start to go from there, and then Robert Aspirin novels, and who else did I read, and yada yada yada. And you just come up with these little memory exercises to do while you're sitting there meditating and breathing. It's very, very powerful what it can do for you. And then of course, whether it's music or novels, what you're coming up with in your mind become tools for your magnetic imagery, for your bridging figures that you can use when you go back to like learning a language or whatever it is you want to do. It's super powerful and amazing, and it just comes in like the waves and it goes out like the waves. And if you don't get too involved in it, you just sort of enjoy, allow it to come in and know that it's going to come out, but capture as much of it as you can. Just like this sand here captures a lot of that moisture, well, that moisture is going to retain and stay, and it's going to create a palpable substance that you can use to build sandcastles in your mind. And some of it's going to go away, but then the next day there's going to become more waves that come in that are going to leave behind more of that moisture. And the more that you do this, the more you get a relationship with it, the more you fuse with the water and the sand and the sky and the clouds and everything. You begin to see how it's all related, and how that actually your memory is not only just related to all these things that are in your mind right now, but all the things that have ever been in your mind and ever will be in your mind. And there's a continuity to it, that a regular meditation memory exercise circuit that you do at least 4 times a week, but I'd say do it every day. And if you can combine it with memory journaling, which is part of my own magnetic habit chain, you're going to find that this real wonderful relationship between you and your memory develops and grows and becomes an asset that's so powerful, and that you're just very comfortable with, that you don't ever judge or have any kind of hostility towards or frustration with, but just a wonderful relationship. And yeah, some storms come in life and so forth, but then it returns, and mostly it's just regular and consistently reliable patterns of information coming in and leaving stuff behind and then going out. And then you have this wonderful material that you can build castles from, and ideally you can actually take some of that and, instead of it being there, have much greater permanency with memory palaces that stand the test of time. And you can populate them from the same material. It all comes from the earth, right? All that glass and concrete and iron, it all comes from the same source. So does your brain. It's all related. It's amazing when you think about it. Anyway, just some thoughts about meditation and memory, and some tips about what you can do. Let me know if you like this. Hit that thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to this channel. And come visit me at magneticmemorymethod.com for more ideas about improving your memory. And love to hear from you in the comments, and love to hear about your own meditation practice. There's so many ways to meditate. The important thing scientifically is that you do it at least 4 times a week minimum in order to get the success. And you'll find that the calm and the peace, yes, even when storms come in life, is as long as the ocean and as deep as the ocean, and you'll never find the bottom of it. You might find the bottom of that ocean, but not the bottom of calm. And there are very, as David Lynch would say, very big fish to be found way down deep. So, hope you enjoyed this. Again, it's Anthony Mitrier from magneticmemorymethod.com. Until we have a chance to speak again, keep yourself magnetic.